And a good Saturday to you folks. I'm Belinda Skelton, and this is Atlanta Living. It is 36 minutes after 2 o'clock, 48 degrees. Okay, something a little happier is rescuing dogs and cats. Okay, we have angels among us. Speaking of angels, we have angels among us. We have Beth Hale and Luann Farrell. They are with Angels Among Us. It's a pet rescue.
That's
and not-for-profit pet
Correct.
rescue. And folks, it's so critical. You see the commercials on TV and radio and people begging you to make donations, adopt dogs. But we're here today to tell you why you need to do that, why you need to get involved. So, ladies, tell them why it's so important that you care about the furry four-legged creatures.
Well, this is Beth, and first of all, we're just thrilled to death to be here today. And why should you rescue? That's a good question. I think the average person doesn't really realize how many animals are stuck in animal control shelters, not only in Georgia, but throughout the nation. They're not really good about keeping current on the numbers, and frankly, some of them don't report the numbers, but the latest ASPCA numbers tell us that there are approximately 3 to 4 million pets that are euthanized annually in America. Wow. And we know that a lot of people can go out and purchase a dog, and many do, right, or a cat, but we're here to try to say, adopt, don't shop. Give that shelter pet a second look. And a lot of people say, well, that's just mutts that are in the shelter, but we're here to break that stereotype and tell you that designer breeds as well as purebred animals are often these days found in shelters. People, for economic reasons, can no longer take care of them, and they give them to a shelter, which is, they call it an owner surrender. And unfortunately, owner surrenders, they think that someone will just come in and adopt them, right, and life will be good. Unfortunately, owner surrenders don't get that stray hole that stray animals do. So if it's depending on how crowded the shelter is, they go to the top of the list to be euthanized. Oh. So we would like to break that stigma and break that cycle. We're probably the only organization that you'll ever have on your program who literally want to work ourselves out of a job. We would like nothing better than to not spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year rescuing pets out of shelters to be their voice. Because you see, they're voiceless. They have no advocate. They have no champion. And so that's what we are here to do. That, in a nutshell, is our goal and our mission, is to rescue one until there are none.
Oh, Beth, I have a lump in my throat right now. Folks, if you have questions for Luann and Beth about pet adoption or how their program works, give us a call, 404-872-0750. That's 404-872-0750. What are the general circumstances that pets come to you?
I'll let Luann fill that one. She's been at this much longer than I have.
Well, we get a lot of people, Beth was just talking about owner surrenders.
And that means someone decides that they cannot care for that pet anymore, or
right,
for whatever reason.
Exactly,
okay,
exactly. They also, what happens is we have a lot of people that we find, we're working with a hospice nurse, for instance, people that have passed away, and the family doesn't want to take on the animal, or they don't know what to do with the animal, and which brings up a good point, is make sure that you've made arrangements for your pets. If something should happen to you, catastrophically, death, something like that they're taken care of. And so my biggest thing with the people, I can't believe what it would be like to be dying and not know what's going to happen to your animals. And so we do step in and take animals a lot of times there. That's one avenue that people probably don't think about.
Okay, I'm not going to cry during this 30 minutes. I'm going to promise myself. We've all seen the internet clip of the German Shepherd that's lying next to the grave of his owner, and that German Shepherd is literally sobbing,
Yes.
crying.
So many people do not realize that pets do grieve. They do grieve the loss of their owners. Something that's come with us relatively in the last year or so, we have become hospice for many animals who would die alone in the shelter with no one to care for them. Maybe the pet has gotten terminally ill and the family, for whatever reason, says we can't afford it, and they take them again to a shelter rather than to an organization like ours. And that pet's there by themselves. So sometimes they have a month, sometimes they have a year. But our goal is to make sure that when their time comes to go to that Rainbow Bridge, that they are not alone, that they are surrounded. Because grief knows no boundaries, be it two-legged or four-legged. It just doesn't.
Right. Let's go to the phone lines so I can pat my eyes. Jamie in Atlanta, you're on WSB. Hey, how are you, Jamie?
I'm fine. I just wanted to say that I rescued, my husband and I rescued a dog named Lucky, and from you guys.
Yay!
And he is just the most unbelievable dog. I mean, honestly, he's the most amazing dog ever. Here, I'm tearing up now. He was abused and starved and, you name it. And he's just been such a gift.
Well, Lucky was very lucky to find you that day, that's for sure.
We're just thrilled. He's our little son, our little furry son. So anyway, I'm going to go cry now.
Okay. Yeah, so are we.
Shout out.
Thank you for rescuing a life and saving a soul.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, what are the criteria, Beth and Luann, for adopting one of your dogs?
Okay.
Well, we actually have and I think a lot of rescues do the same thing. We have an application process that can be filled out online or at one of the adoption events. Then we do reference calls to their veterinarians. They have to be up to date, spay and neutered. All their pets have to be current on everything. And then we do a contract, an adoption fee, and we also do a home visit. And typically the home visit is done by the foster parent because they know the dog better than any of us, and we leave it up to them if they come into a home, and even though that person or family may be approved on paper, if they feel that dog doesn't feel comfortable or it's not the right situation for them, we by all means give them that freedom to make that decision, and we'll be the bad guys and just say, I'm sorry, but this isn't a good fit. Maybe another one would be. And we always take our dogs back. If for some reason, you never know, they get into the situation and maybe the children are too much for them, or they really, wanted to have two dogs and the other dog doesn't think that way. He just disagrees with that decision completely. And so we'll always take them back. And we've had some come back after 3 years, and we gladly take them back. It was a situation where they lost a home, and we gladly took it back.
Okay. Yes. Let's speak with Bill in Berkeley Lake. You're on WSB. Bill, how are you today?
I'm good, and I wanted to tell you a success story. My wife has an allergy problem, and so we decided that a Maltese was going to be the best dog for us because they don't shed. And we went online and found one, we were looking for a shelter. We found one in Orlando, Florida, and one in Greenville, South Carolina. We contacted the Orlando, and they required a home inspection, which they told us they couldn't do because they didn't have anyone in Atlanta to do that. But we talked to the people in Greenville, and this dog that it was about 3 or 4 years ago, I guess. Now, we had the dog about 3 or 4 years. The prior owner had already put a chip in the dog. We don't know the circumstances of why they gave it up, But he's been just a magnificent animal. He was about a year and a half old when we got him, and has been so great. And it just shows you that there are really good dogs are out there in the shelters.
That's very true.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, to that point, he was saying that doing the home visits, because we do require one as well. We work a lot with other rescues in other states, and that's how I kind of got started, was working with other states. So we do have rescue organizations that will do the home visits in other cities, should that become an issue.
Okay. And Bill, congratulations. Thank you for your call. It's 48 minutes after 2 o'clock. We are speaking with Beth Hill and Luann Farrell and Farrell, and we are talking with Angels Among Us Pet Rescue. And if you have a question about adopting a pet, getting involved in their organization, give us a call, 404-872-0750, 404-872-0750. I'm kind of disappointed that I don't have one to play with sitting in my lap right now. So anyway,
we can fix that.
Yeah, give us a call. We'll take more of your calls right after this. Thank you, Scott. And we are speaking with Beth Hill and Leanne Farrell, and we are speaking about adopting dogs from Angels Among Us Pet Rescue. And let's go back to the phone lines, ladies, really quick, so we can get as many calls in. Jeff and McDonough, you're on WSB. How are you? Jeff? Jeff may not be there. Let's try another phone line. Okay, Susan and Marietta.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. My question is, I have a 14-year-old golden retriever, and we lost our other male golden retriever last year, so a friend gave us a puppy who's now a year and a half old.
Mm-hmm.
But he needs a buddy to play with. So I want to do a rescue, but how do you know how to get the dog that'll mix in with the group I have?
Good question.
I have the perfect answer for you. We have a wonderful match team at Angels Among Us Pet Rescue, and you can work directly with them, and they will know all of our animals and how to match up the best animal to go with your current animal. And they will work with you until they get that match right. They are excellent at what they do. So I would say trust them by all means, and just get yourself an application filled out. You can do that online at our website, angelsrescue.org, and submit it electronically, and that'll start the process. It doesn't commit you to anything. It just starts the process, and they'll get with you and just tell them what you're looking for, and they'll find you the best match.
All right, Susan, thank you for your call. Jim, thanks for your call. What can we help you with today?
Well, I'd like to know how I can get involved. I don't think I can get involved any more than I have as far as adopting, because I've adopted 5.
Wow.
Wow. You've won your angel wings for sure.
Well, I've adopted 3 cats and 2 dogs, and I have one that I actually bought. But my sister got me a plaque that says, "Oops, I've adopted another animal." And I'm trying to. I'm retired, so I have some time to get involved with your organization if I could help some way.
Oh yeah,
you are exactly what we're looking for. We have a saying that says, if you cannot adopt, foster. If you cannot foster, donate. If you cannot donate, sponsor. If you can't sponsor, volunteer. If you can't volunteer, just care and share. In other words, everyone can do something. We desperately always need fosters and volunteers. If you feel that you could take in a foster that would be there in your home through the transition period, and you would take them to adoption events and help them find their forever home, that would be great. But if you can't, you can volunteer. There are many ways you could transport animals back and forth to the vets' offices. You could help on our pull team, which is a very heartbreaking, hard thing to do, but it's very rewarding to walk an animal out of a shelter and say, today's not your day to die. And there are event teams. There are all kind of people that call on the phone who work on the match team. We've got 100 different ways to fill up your time, sir, if you want to come and be a part of our wonderful family, because it truly does. And what we do in animal rescue, it truly takes a village.
Well, how do I contact your organization?
If you will go to our website at www.angelsrescue.org and click on the area where it talks about volunteers, you can send an email to info@angelsrescue.org. Either one of those ways will work, and tell them that you have time, you have a big heart, and you want to be put to work.
And it's angelsrescue.org.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Don't you love to hear those
Oh,
stories?
they're awesome. I hope he has friends.
That's music to our ears.
So I've got this guinea pig.
We only rescue dogs and cats.
Oh,
Sorry.
well, we had a duck once.
Oh,
And a
gosh.
pig.
That's true.
I've done that as well. So hopefully all things go with a happy ending, but our own Mark Dowden that's on the board, our hats off to you that you are a foster parent.
And I also work on the adoptions team.
On the adoptions team. So you foster dogs in your home until they find their permanent home.
Yes. Or until I fail.
Yeah.
Which means I end up adopting the dog myself.
And how many dogs are living in your home now?
2 fosters and 2 that I own.
Awesome.
Okay.
The most we've had is 7 at one time, but we've figured out that 4 is just about the right.
The right
silence
mix.
can be deafening sometimes.
So what is the foster time generally?
Well, it really depends on the dogs. Because we keep them, once we've committed to them, we're going to keep them forever if we have to. And so, some of them obviously are much more appealing adoption-wise than some. How we started actually is we took the dogs that nobody else would.
Yeah.
And that's kind of still our whole mantra is the black ones, the ones that have a, bad leg or something like that. So some of them, the pit mixes and things like that will obviously take longer to adopt than the little Shih Tzus.
Okay.
So, we've got 1 and 2, we got some of each kinds.
Thank you so much for joining us. Angels Among Us Pet Rescue. I hope that you do work yourself out of a job. Folks, enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow. Handle on the Law is next, followed by UGA basketball. See you next week.